Good tubbing.
I've been really trying. I'm not trying hard, but I've been like really pushing my algorithm on TikTok to
For
be
Irish
so full
content.
of like Irish content. Yeah.
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 I
Just
love
really
those little
trying.
videos.
I love
Yeah,
it.
they're
There's a
great.
guy, I think it's like Kupla Fucking Ladan, that he's going around and his series is basically putting labels on stuff in his house name in Irish before his wife notices kind of thing. And so each video is like, this is a clock, clug, and then you see a little label
Yeah.
on his clock
Aw. Oh, that's
for a
cute.
clug. Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's really funny.
I think there's like a resurgence of it now. I'm doing
There
Duolingo
is.
Irish as well.
Are you?
Yeah. Some of it's a bit weird. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't have a good reputation, the Irish in there, especially since they introduced the AI
yeah.
pronunciation of it. Apparently, it's gone downhill, but
Oh,
it can be decent for like grammar structure. But then if you already know grammar structure because you did it in school,
yeah. Yeah,
there's
yeah. Yeah.
there is a lot of people putting courses and all kinds of stuff. I think what I need to do is apparently there's some good podcasts that are like beginner Irish or
Mm.
like hybrid Irish English, like where that if you listen to it,
You'll
they're meant
you'll
to be good.
understand.
Yeah. And then it's
Okay.
also all the stuff about the dialect. So I would have learned Munster Irish.
Mm. I would have been
Um,
Donegal, so our dialect's probably completely different.
you learned Donegal Irish?
Yeah, my secondary school teacher was from Donegal.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's basically Ulster dialect, kind of.
Wouldn't that be weird? Like the way we hear English people, or sorry, not English people speaking English if they're like French or something like that.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of like that. Sometimes actually it's even worse. Like, 'cause I've watched, because a lot of the people for some reason online are Ulster Irish dialect, and or
Yeah.
maybe that's my algorithm is like locked in. But like some words are like completely different. Like if I
Mm.
say like gama, right?
I would say
They would
Gama,
say
but
they'd say
but
gamai, stuff like
yeah.
that, where it's like, oh, that's completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder did he tone down his Donegal accent in Irish for the school in Kildare?
He
Maybe
might have
because I would
done.
say Gama, I wouldn't say Gamai.
Yeah.
But I know that pronunciation as well, so who knows?
Like,
Who knows?
who knows?
He was hot though. That's all I know. But that's neither here nor there.
Hanwa.
Yeah, buckle jazz, what? Anyway, welcome back to A Word With
Another
Yourself.
classic cold open where we don't know how to intro any of our videos.
We'll get there, as I said. It's only been, what, a year?
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it. I like our cold opens. They're fine. I just before this, I went to take a swig of my Diet Coke as normal and realized that it was yesterday's Diet Coke and it was very
Oh,
flat.
no. Oh,
Very
there's
flat.
nothing worse.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
well,
was
there
nice.
is worse. There's reaching for a bottle of water in the morning and realizing it was vodka in your water bottle. That was worse. That happened so many times in college.
That-
I don't know.
I don't think that's ever happened to me.
Well, lucky you.
Whether you like universal experience when you go to drink your water, but it's vodka. And I'm like, actually, I don't think that's ever happened to me.
Okay, just me then. I guarantee someone who listens to this has done that before. I hope.
I can imagine that would be awful, especially the morning after. My God,
Yeah.
especially the morning after.
I
That would
know,
be
I know.
So gross.
Oh God, yeah. So anyway, yeah, just always double check your water. It's not got vodka in it.
Advice of the day. Professional advice of the day.
Yeah.
Double check your water to make sure it's not vodka.
Your workplace vodka in a water bottle. Oh dear God, that's so like college coded, just like
Yeah.
to take with you wherever you were going. Oh dear. But anyway, so that was a very weird tangent. So yeah, we're back after a little hiatus because
Yeah.
we had vacation,
Summer
and lots of stuff
holidays.
going on. Yeah. And Jennifer was traveling Europe, as they say.
I sure was. As the North Americans would say, I was traveling around Europe.
Yeah.
And by
it's
that,
like
I mean,
where?
I had a beautiful holiday with my family and then had another trip around visiting other family. It was a good time.
In Lanzarote and England.
Sure was.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
didn't go to Ireland though, did you?
No.
Yeah, but
no.
you saw all your family in Lanzarote anyway, so sure.
I saw my family in Lanzarote, but obviously no friends.
Yeah.
But I did wave at Ireland when I flew over it
Ah,
twice.
that's such a classic thing to say. When you've done it. My mom always says, "Oh, I waved at you when they're flying over,"
Yeah.
or something like that.
I was
You know?
like, my God, Ireland.
Yeah. You look at the window and see it. It's so like emotional, isn't it, or something? I don't know
A
why.
little bit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh. I
Yeah.
did. I was like, it would be so nice to go, but I just couldn't fit it in
I
as
know,
well.
it's too much.
But like,
Yeah.
I really wanted to, but I was just like, oh, I can't.
Yeah, not this time anyway.
Not this time.
Not this time, buddy. But while we were away, lots of stuff happened that we want to talk about.
Is there ever a day where stuff doesn't go to hell on the world stage? But now, actually, more provincially.
Provincially, yeah. I mean, things are always going to shit in the corporate world.
Yes.
But they're just getting progressively worse. And specifically the mandate for all Ontario public service employees to go back to the office 5 days a week starting in January.
Yeah, which is garbage. I have stronger words, but I'm not using them.
That's a real, like, I want to say something bad, but I'm going to replace it like sugar instead of shit. Or
it's so stupid. Like, it's so stupid. Yeah. It's dumb and it's stupid, and people are just making bad decisions all over the place. And also, they're not the only ones. So, like, companies continue to do this. Return to office is coming out all of the time, but like it always is coming. So anybody I've spoken to about it, either in company or like government, they're like, it's always coming from super high up. Like, it's never just like your manager or your manager's manager, whatever, that says, hey, I want you all back in the office. They don't want it either. No. I was speaking to somebody who HR had to give the presentation and do like a Q&A where people can ask questions about it. And they were like, we don't want this. And we know that we don't want it. We know that it's not beneficial. Like,
it's kind of putting them in an awkward position, isn't it? Because
really
they're like the messenger, but like they look like the bad people because they're delivering the bad message on behalf of whoever made the decision.
Yeah, exactly. And they probably like campaigned against it heavily, probably for a while, you know.
Yeah, it's always, of course, it's always the higher ups. Like, I was talking about this with somebody I know the other day, because it's a completely different ball game when you're talking about somebody who's earning 500 grand versus somebody who's earning 80 grand. You know, they have the resources to pay for childcare, elder care, parking, nice cars to drive in, whatever it is. It's just not the same. You know, those people making decisions don't have the same day to day as, you know, somebody who's not earning nearly as much as they are, but they don't take that into consideration.
No, they do not. And so, like, we thought that we had absolutely exhausted this topic.
I know, right? Here we are again.
Here we are. Once again, dealing with people's abject stupidity. So, because we've talked about this before. Like, we could repeat a ton of it, but like, it's been proven bad for diversity, equity, and inclusion. It has been proven that working from home makes you as, if not more, productive. Something like, I think it's like 70 or 80% of workers are as, if not more, productive remote working. Nobody wants this. So like, it's something, again, like only something like 20 to 30% of workers are like, oh yeah, I'd like to be in the office. But even those want some hybrid version. So like, nobody wants it. It's not good for employees. It's not good for productivity. And it's a waste of like money when it comes to offices, when it comes to like, you know, resources, like everything. It's it's bad.
Yeah.
You know, objectively. And yet here we are with everybody doing it. And so I said this to Leslie the other day. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I don't know what's happening. Yeah. And I don't know why everybody's doing it. The thing is, we do kind of know why people are doing it. Yeah. There's two main reasons. One is corporate real estate. To give an example, so if people don't know, there is a housing crisis in Toronto right now, but specifically around the collapsing of the small condo market. So, in case anybody doesn't know, Toronto is a big city, and it's very similar to trying to get property in, like, you know, London, New York, etc. And so there was a massive rise of developers building basically tiny condos, like 300-400 square foot condos. You'd be lucky to get 500 square foot. And they were being bought up largely as investment properties. So you were able to buy them off plan, put basically no money down, and then you didn't have to pay for it until they were built, in which case most people would sell them immediately and make money off it because prices just kept going up, or they would rent them out. And there was a huge demand for rental properties because, of course, Toronto would be packed with workers. It's all pre-pandemic, right? And you know, people would go into those small condos as like the only one they could get if they were living alone, maybe, or as investment properties to get on the property market elsewhere. Two things happened. Well, one big thing happened that led to two things happening. One, the pandemic. And so everybody's remote working, yada, yada, yada. And so what happened was that those prices of those small condos dropped because demand dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And so people are losing money on them now, and nobody wants to buy them, and people
Mm-hmm.
literally can't get rid of them. And the second is the demand for rent dropped as well. And oh, that's kind of a 2.5. Interest mortgage rates rose.
Mm.
So now you can't sell it or make any money from it. So a lot of people are in negative equity, or you can rent it out, but the rent isn't covering your mortgage rates anymore because of various things, mainly interest rates. And so there's this crisis. Now, there's one good way to solve that. Do you know how you solve it? You put a ton of people, force them back into the city every day, and now people need somewhere to live again, and that's the only housing stock that's kind of readily available, or they start buying up places again, and that's like the cheapest property that you can buy. And now all of those people with investment properties or want to get investment properties and corporate landlords are like, oh, okay, great, we can make money again. So that is 100%. They've put pressure on, you know, companies, governments, etc., or whatever they're offering them, who knows, to push people back into office so that the commercial real estate market can recover.
Yeah.
And honestly, they can do one.
Yeah, no, it's exactly it. I wonder like how or what type of pressure they're putting on it. And I know it's a case of the downtown core as well, right? The businesses down there and the restaurants, things like that. The Path, which is like this huge underground city essentially. During the pandemic, a lot of the shops down there closed down and so on. So it's not a good look either. Forcing or incentivizing companies to do that is in the interest of, you know, the people who need that to be kind of like a really bustling, busy area. Because what are they gonna do with everything down there? There's all these buildings that are built and they're just there.
They're
you know,
empty,
the banks had just built CIBC just built a huge new
skyscraper.
Yeah. So what are they gonna do with that building if nobody's working? So it's not a case of it's not better for our staff. It's better for us to fill a building that we've built. Like it's still gonna be there. Even if you put people in it, you know, kind of doesn't make any sense. Like you're actually getting value for your money by actually having people in it, but still not being as productive. So it's kind of like a catch-22. And what is the other thing that is driving them back as well?
So the tax revenues tie into that one. So that will be one of the big drivers, is that the city or various municipalities or, you know, just the provincial government at large, they'll see lowering property tax revenues theoretically, or just like general business tax revenues, because the people are, you know, maybe businesses aren't making enough money. There's not enough small businesses being able to survive with like a lower population in the cities. And, you know, when you have big companies might move out of cities because they're all remote working, then they're missing, you know, kind of tax revenue from that as well. And so I'm sure that's it. But like,
but
like, don't lie about it.
Yeah, well, this is what we said before. They're never going to say the truth, right? So they have to come up with these different things to say that kind of, you know, disguise what it really is. And the productivity issue, you know, I've seen so many things online now since I heard the announcement, you know, well, that's because remote workers and hybrid workers are, you know, taking the piss. And if I see a TikTok of somebody being like, I'm a remote work and they're on a call, but they're also like washing like dishes or something like that. And they're like, this is why we're being forced to go back to work. And I'm like, no, maybe CEOs are seeing that, right, and saying, oh, they're not being productive at home. But like the distractions in the workplace are equal, if not more distracting than the distractions at home. You know, you don't have your 100%. Quiet time. You know, there's so many different things you could talk about, from like chatting to your coworkers, going for coffees, having lunch. Just you're going to waste time no matter where you are at any point. And the one thing I notice is people being on their phones, you know, all the time. You know, anytime you have a chance, you're going to waste time on like reading the news on your laptop or something like that. You know, just because you're in the office at your laptop does not mean you're being productive.
No, it doesn't. And it also shows bad management, right? Like, so if you're not able to accurately measure the outcomes of your staff members and be able to track that regardless of whether they're out or in the office, then that's like a you problem, not your staff's problem. So, because like, you know, like the distractions in the office are much worse. Like I remember going to fully remote, like when COVID hit, and being like, oh my God, I could get so much work done.
Yeah, no distractions.
People would just like drop by my office like all of the time with no warning.
I remember we shared an office, and then you had to get your own office because people were constantly coming in to talk to you.
Constantly. Yeah. And like obviously, like it's fine, they needed me, but I couldn't compartmentalize it. Right. So now that happens via Slack. So So yeah, I'll get the constant stuff via Slack, but like if
Yeah.
I'm at a meeting or if I'm doing something, I do that and then I go look at
Not
Slack,
distracted.
right? Like, so, you
Yeah.
know,
Doesn't
because
it interrupt your thought process and so on.
because like
Yeah.
task switching as well, like, it's
it's a
it's
productivity killer.
massively increased my productivity being able to work from home. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
And it's true for so many people. And the other reason, we are in a recession. Recessions affect everybody, including businesses. Well, we've lesser sympathy, but fine. Well, for the big ones.
Yeah.
Not obviously small businesses is a different question. We should do what we can to
love
help them
we
survive.
love small businesses.
Lots of small businesses. Those big guys, though, they could
come down a peg or two.
Yeah, maybe. We're in a recession. Companies need to cut costs, and the government needs to cut costs. So if you look at the threats at the federal government level, like they are looking to cut costs federally, and looking at making like cuts across like the federal government staff.
Yeah.
Obviously, anytime you make cuts like that, there's big backlash, and you know the provincial government will be under the same pressures, right? So if they force everybody back to work 5 days a week, as always, it's a way of doing layoffs without doing layoffs, because people will quit.
Yep.
People will quit because they have to, because they have no other choice. Like you have people who are commuting, 2 hours each way now for no reason at all. And so they'll end up quitting, right? Because that's not a sustainable lifestyle. There's people, and this is it, like some people are saying like, oh, well, you shouldn't have like moved. Like, first of all, people got permission to move. They were told they would always be able to work remotely because it's working out. And then actually, like most people, if you think in 5 years, most people have moved jobs at least once.
Yeah.
Because that is the name of the game. Most people were hired on as remote workers. So like if you're hired on as a remote worker and then you're told you have to be in the office that's 2 hours away, that's unsustainable, right? So yeah, I think they're forcing for like reduction in costs, that they're probably pushing for a reduction in costs, and that's like a big part of it as well. So
yeah, but that in itself is also like not a good idea for business, because it doesn't matter if it's like a great worker or a crap worker.
Exactly.
If they can't physically do that, they're going to leave. So the brain drain, they might think, oh, it's going to be the people who are lazy, that don't care, that are going to quit, but it's going to be everybody. Like your top performer who has to commute 5 days a week, but also has an elderly parent they have to care for. So that time cuts into the time that they look after them. They can't afford maybe somebody to look at, it's everybody's affected. So it is a case of losing a lot of like, institutional knowledge and experience as well, which is huge. A bad thing for companies and the public.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was already mad at the companies. Now that the government are doing it, I consider that to be an absolute waste of resources and a waste of taxpayers' money. And I consider that to be, I don't know what the equivalent of like malpractices in government, but like if you were on purpose making decisions that's wasting taxpayers' money, and this, and all of the evidence points towards that this is a waste of resources, then you are mismanaging your position, and you shouldn't be in that position anymore. That is my opinion on that. So sorry, Dougie.
I'm sure we'll have more to say on it.
More
comes out.
Well, I think like what's interesting about it as well is like it's part of this like overall shift. I mean, people kind of joke about like late stage capitalism, and it's like such a buzzword, but if you look at things now, like everything is very anti-worker and like pro-business. So I was talking to somebody recently and talking about how you have to consider companies as being their own entity. Like we talk about like leadership management, blah, 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 blah. The honest answer is that like capitalism has gotten so bad that sometimes even the highest ranked person in that company doesn't have enough power to make the right decisions for their company, because the company itself is this own entity that has to be like protected and pursued at any cost. Any cost. And so like this kind of like anti-worker mentality is so prevalent now, and like and it's become so normalized. Like we've normalized like policies that are anti-worker, practices that are anti-worker. Like even we're looking at like funding for startups or contracts, like employee contracts. When you read them, like they're all stacked towards the company as its own entity, and we've normalized it. Like that's just the way it is, right? And we should be a little bit pro-union for that point, but anyway, but it's like, and you kind of see the mentality in so there's a new phrase in town. there's a new phrase. It's called quiet cracking, which sounds a lot more fun than it is.
Yeah.
So we had quiet quitting, and we had like quiet firing, and like all this kind of stuff. So quiet cracking basically means that you are literally cracking under the weight of your job, but silently, like as in nobody can see it. You're still kind of doing your work, and you're still hitting your deadlines and all of that, but you are like falling apart behind the scenes in order to maintain that, which, by the way, it's just burnout. So I don't know why we have this new fancy word for it. I think that's also bad.
Just call a spade a spade. It's burnout.
But I think like when like we look at like all of those phrases, when people talk about it, it's very much like, oh, like you as an individual are failing. Like you can't cope, so you're quiet cracking. You're lazy, so you're quiet quitting. You know what I mean? It's very much this like anti-individual worker.
Yeah.
But like all quiet quitting was like refusing to do unpaid work.
Yeah,
and I don't know why
job.
people, it was like all quiet quitting was doing the job that you're paid for and not doing anything over and above. And I don't know why that was considered a bad thing.
Yeah, the narrative was more like, oh, it's just people deciding not to do their work or being as lazy as possible.
Yeah,
so
which
like,
is just not true.
Yeah, so maybe quiet quitting isn't even, it doesn't describe what it actually is adequately. If the perception of it makes it sound like that you just, it's as if you've quit, as if you're not doing your job, but you're still employed.
Yeah. And I think the quiet cracking is quite, oh my God, it sounds, every time I try to say it, I say like quiet quacking.
Yeah.
Quiet cracking.
There you go.
Like when you kind of describe someone who's like cracked under the pressure, it's like the language implies a judgment against that person who like couldn't take it, like couldn't handle the heat, cracked under the pressure. When like burnout, especially from a professional perspective, is the fault of the company. Right. So like, why are we saying quiet cracking? Like it's the individual's fault that they haven't been able to sustain something that is unsustainable. We should be looking at the companies for putting in place work practices that are unsustainable and causing burnout. And so I honestly, I said this to you earlier. I was fully on a soapbox this week. I was like, the return to office stuff, the quiet cracking stuff just like pissed me off, and it really annoyed me. Guess we need to cut that out. I don't know what our language policies are on the various things. Anyway, it just really annoyed me altogether because, and then I just on the back of like, I don't know, like, you know, cuts that are coming, you know, federally, like, and all of these different things. And it's just like, why are workers as individuals being blamed for what is bad practice by companies? And why do we have to suffer for it? Why do we have to take all of the repercussions of bad practices, bad decisions, and bad policies by companies? It's just like this. Late stage capitalism, for want of a better word, is just 100% pro-business. The company is its own entity, and anybody involved in it, honestly, the whole way up sometimes, like they can just forget about it. They're absolutely dispensable and have like no real power in the direction of that company. And I really kind of reached the limit of that this week.
Okay, I've had enough now. I'm going to rant about it. But it is the power dynamic. Like they know they can mandate this, and that the majority of people are still going to stay because people are nervous about the economy and being able to pay their mortgages and things like that, right? So they have the power to do it, no matter like to the detriment of people's lives or anything like that, because, you know, in the long run, they'll probably still continue on as a company or whatever, unless like everybody revolts or things like that. You know, it's just, it's bad. What's the word? Karma or something. I don't know. You know, it's not a good decision, but they're just doing it because they can.
They're doing what they can. Yeah. And I think what's more like when you realize that as soon as they could, they did.
Yes.
Like that will really annoy you, because there was all these like pro-worker policies and like remote work and all of these things during the pandemic and just post-pandemic when they needed workers, right? Like there was empty jobs and workers were needed. Yeah. And now that it's swung the other way and like people are struggling more with jobs availability and the transition of AI and all this kind of stuff, as soon as those companies could treat their workers badly, they did. Like they barely waited. They were like, oh, we can treat them like crap again now. Great. Let's do that absolutely immediately, because I'm tired of treating them like people. That's awful. And like this also then, you know, when I hear people who are like anti-union or think unions are bad, I'm like, unions have had to fight like tooth and nail for every single worker protection that we have today.
Currently, you're right. Yeah.
You know, and without them, we wouldn't have them, because companies have proven historically and are still proving it today that workers are completely expendable, and they will treat you as badly as they are legally allowed to treat you. And sometimes illegally, and just can get away with it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there needs to be a forcing factor. When you look at the Air Canada strike, I loved that.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Great.
I didn't realize they didn't get paid for the time spent on the ground. Like, that just seems like that could never happen. Like, it's so bad that it's like, how is this? How has nobody known this, or people have known it and just not thought about it?
They've known it. They've known, like, it's just been known, but nobody could do anything about it because they're such a behemoth, and it's standard practice in like airlines. So talk about doing something illegally that people just get away with, that we've considered the norm. Like, what if they quiet quit? What happens? They only work when they're in the air. Like, they shouldn't be forced to do unpaid work. No. Nobody should be forced to do unpaid work. And it is absolutely crazy that they went on strike and the government tried to mandate them back to work. And I really loved that the QB guy was just like, absolutely not, I'll go to jail, like, send me to jail. I loved it.
You're like,
I loved it.
A win for the little man.
and then they came to an agreement once they realized that they weren't going to do that. And I just thought that was amazing.
That is a huge win. You know, that is great.
Yeah. Especially, you know, anyway, so it's
you know what? You think that remote work and hybrid work was our own choice to begin with, you know, like we forced them to do that or something, you know. We were forced to work from home in order to keep companies running.
Yes.
You know, and did so successfully. Which is the problem. Now it's like, oh no, you're not allowed to do that anymore, you got too comfortable. I'm like, this wasn't our choice to begin with, but like it proved to be more successful. So
but also, like, why is hardship so like reward? Like, why is it
as necessary
for? Yeah, like, why can't I do a great job and be comfortable?
Yeah, but
because again, biologically, the more comfortable I am and well rested and all of these different things and less stress, the better my job, like the better my work is going to be. That has also been proven. So why do people want employees to be miserable and under hardship, and that is the only way they're doing good work? It's like, no, they're obviously going to give you, like, because work quality is going to go down so much if people are having to put in these massive commutes and they have all this added stress of like, again, to your point, like, if you suddenly have to take an additional 3 to 4 hours out of your day commuting that you didn't have to do before, and you have young kids, now you have to find additional childcare. To your point, you're a caregiver, you have to find additional, you know, caregiving things, and it just I don't. And so all of those people who are now, it's essentially a pay cut, right? It's now more stressful. You've less time in your day, so you're going to be more stressed about like your life because you have less time to do anything. And you think they're going to give you better work. You're
going to be more productive because like, you're sitting in the office.
It's delusional. Like,
I know. It's like we're preaching to the choir. But you know what another reason is as well is that companies, you know, that are struggling, or, you know, say they haven't picked back up again since the pandemic or whatever, they're looking for ways to maybe shoot up revenue or ideas, right? They've run out of ideas. How are we going to, you know, increase revenues or whatever? Okay, I know what. We'll blanket bring everybody back to the office, and that will be just like a tick box. We did this, and, you know, that CEO might leave before the results of that even come to fruition, right? You know, like they might implement it and say like, in a year leave or something, or in 2 years, and they're just banking on whether that will just show a spike in revenue or something like that. You know, they're just not coming up with any new ideas to do it. So they're just like, hey, here's something that I can do that is like pretty easy for me to say, probably won't require a lot of buy-in from, you know, senior executives either, that are like, yeah, you know what, okay, like, because they're probably likely more in the office because, you know, senior meetings are more one-to-one, and like there's a lot of negotiating around tables and things like that, which is not required for middle management or lower level jobs. So that's the way they work, right? So that's the way they see it, as being productive and getting the most work done. So there's just like a whole
and even in that, like, I mean, because we tend to gravitate towards different size companies that we will work with, and so I tend to gravitate towards like the really small startups. You tend to gravitate more towards kind of like small to mid-size, and like large, and like, and in my space, the notion that you would get, like, it's just unheard of. Like, all of the executives are remote. Everybody's quite happy and can like have great, like, you know, very efficient phone
industry,
calls.
Right? Pretty much, like, it's just all they have it right, I think, you know, for the most part.
Yeah.
But it's the
And
old school thinking in the
very
kind
old
of
school, yeah.
older and kind of not historical businesses, but like classic, say, businesses like banks and consulting and things like that haven't come around to the tech side of things. And the
Yeah.
newer tech companies have had to kind of use the different channels and things like that rather than being in person because they need to get the best people from everywhere, right? And they can't have them all in the right place and so on. So that model is, something that should be aimed for.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we could go on for hours about it.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very annoyed about it.
Yeah,
Like
I know,
so
I'm riled up now.
redundantly as well, because I can't
Yeah.
like do anything about it.
I
But
know. But all we can do is talk about it.
we
And
just talk about it.
yeah. Because what else can we do?
I know.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I just
Yeah.
like thing is like I'll get maybe annoyed about stuff that's like going wrong, but
Mm.
like I get incensed by like illogical
Yeah.
actions that are like
Injustice.
counter to like science and research and are just kind of stupid.
Humanity.
That really, really, really riles me up.
Yeah. It's just like there's no benefit to this whatsoever.
Yeah.
I can't think of one because all I can think of is workplace affairs are going to increase. Work drama is going to increase. There's going to be a whole lot of more interpersonal conflict.
Sure.
Yeah, there's just so many bad things. Bad.
Tell me some funny things. I need to like
get
off my high horse a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. Like, what are the good things about going back to the office, or what?
Oh, maybe not good, but at least
things that you can expect.
Things we can expect when you go back to work.
Not back to work.
Yeah, using bathroom breaks to silently scream into the void.
Yeah, definitely. People are definitely going to take bathroom breaks for phone time and just sit in there, and scroll their phones. Then you'll also have that awkward interaction where you're walking back from the bathroom and somebody else is going to the bathroom. You know them, but you don't quite know them well enough. And you kind of have to wait until the opportune moment to do the nod or whatever, just like the kind of half smile where you're like...
But you see them coming down the corridor.
Yeah, and then you're like, where do I look? What do I do? Oh my God. That is one of the things I dread every single day, which is so small. But I'm just like, oh my God, how could this interaction get really awkward? Same thing with being in the kitchen with somebody you don't really know that well and you're both heating up your food or something and you're just trying to make small talk. And I would find myself very good at small talk.
Yeah,
but to a certain extent, there's only so much small talk you can make.
There is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just not in the mood to carry a conversation either.
Yeah, but... You just have to do it when you're in the office, which is terrifying.
Guess we can enjoy unnecessary dress codes.
Yes. Yeah, we can do that too. Trying to figure out what to wear every day.
Yeah.
That will be great. Spending more money on work clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great one. Women being unnecessarily taxed because due to expectations of appearance, they have to spend more money on work clothes and makeup and hair in order to seem professional, whatever that is. Which great.
Someone pointed that out to me the other day. Actually, the makeup thing, you're going to have to use makeup more often. Therefore, obviously, spend more. You're going to have to wash our hair more often.
Yeah. And I don't want people to come at me and be like, well, you don't have to. Of course you don't have to. But again, studies have proven that if you don't, it actually affects your career negatively.
That's
so
the thing.
We live in a society and that's what's necessary sometimes to put your best chance of getting ahead in your career, unfortunately, is to buy into the standards that are expected of women in a working environment.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it before, their first impressions and things like that. People are automatically drawn to people who are put together and look good or look confident or if you have your hair done, it kind of signals that you've put thought into things and you've got time, you've made time to do that. So there's all these different silent things.
But only for women. Men can kind of do what they want.
They can just wear the same suit every single day and change the shirt and they don't have to do the hair or the makeup or anything like that. And they can just wear their same flat shoes all the time too, whereas women have to change shoe types, shoe heights, everything.
And wage inequality is still an issue. So men will continue to get paid more on average to do the same job. Women will get paid less on average to do the same job, but have to spend more on their job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, this isn't helping me get off my soapbox.
Oh, sorry.
This is meant to be funny. Oh my God.
This is meant to be good things about it.
This is bringing up pre-pandemic work frustrations. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's good. It's great.
Yeah. When you were in the office, do you remember anything that you absolutely dreaded or that you were like, oh, this is so annoying. I just have to do this silly dance around things just to get through the day? Or
you
was it
think?
perfect?
Oh yeah, it was so perfect. I think it was the performative presenteeism.
Yeah,
So like it's like you're gonna be in the office from whatever time to whatever time every
yeah.
day. And then like some days I would do like such a great day's work and I'd get loads of stuff done and it'd be great. And then other days like it just wouldn't be there, but I'd have to stay there and like look busy.
Just to pass the
Um
time.
and it's like
Yeah,
this is
a waste
garbage
of
because
all our time.
when I was busy enough and in a good groove, I would just stay at the office because that was the time. So
Mm-hmm.
like I hated the fact that it was fine and good when you just stayed at the office late to get your work done, but you never got like the reciprocal, oh, but if it's a quieter day or like a
You can
slower
go
day
home
where you
and
just feel like you're
yeah,
not productive, that you can go home early. Like it's so
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
hated the performative presenteeism. That one
yeah.
I didn't enjoy.
That still
Um
exists. Don't
that still
worry,
exists.
it's still alive and
Hey.
well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what I didn't love is this is actually really only in Canada is I didn't love the fact that it was very hard to get boiling water to make tea
Oh,
unless there was an actual kettle there, which
yeah,
was rare.
yeah. It's very rare. I don't have it in my office.
That was actually as a minor pet peeve. I have
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
much tea now at home.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What would you do? You'd have
I
to
would
buy one to
yeah,
use
yeah,
in the
normally it's like
office.
that I'd have to buy one to use in the
Yeah,
office or
because that
just
crap that comes out of the water cooler, like the hot water,
oh
I actually, what I have to do is put cold water in a cup and microwave it. I know, but that's the only way to get boiling hot water.
my God, that's like a hate crime
It's
against
barbaric.
you.
I know, against
Yeah.
myself. Yeah,
Yeah, you're
I know,
traumatizing yourself.
I know. So what am I meant to do? Have no tea or a mediocre cup of tea?
Yeah, and sometimes
You
a
know
mediocre
what?
cup of tea is worse than no tea.
That's right, So yeah, that's why
Yeah.
it was really bad when I didn't heat it in the microwave. It was just kind of like lukewarm, not even fully.
Mm.
Yeah, it was terrible. So
Or the
not
worst
looking
where they're
forward to
like, we
that.
do have boiling water and it comes out of the coffee machine. It's like, okay, but now it tastes like coffee.
Yeah, don't buy that. That's something that they're trying to sell us. That's that's a scam.
So now I have like tea that is mildly flavored with coffee. That's gross.
Delicious.
Actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to crap coffee, in the office and buying more coffees every day. Like, oh
Mm.
my God, because I love making my espressos during the day in the house and things like that. But nope, gonna have to spend way more on food.
Oh, one small thing, very
Yeah.
small minor thing, is that like I very much have like a resting reading phase. But if I'm concentrating or reading, like I don't look happy.
Oh yeah.
And when I'm at home, I can do that because if unless I'm on a meeting, I can
Mm,
just I can not put on like I
yeah.
can actually just relax and just
Be
concentrate
yourself.
on stuff. Whereas if I'm in the office, I always have to be very conscious that I'm putting on like a
Yeah.
pleasant, approachable face.
Yeah.
Otherwise, again, as a woman in the office,
Mm-hmm.
you are deemed to be unfriendly or
A bitch.
whatever. Yeah. And so it is nice not to have to like fully
Mm-hmm.
have a
Yeah.
1950s housewife face on the whole time just so that people
Oh
don't think
yeah.
I'm a terrible person. That's
It's
nice.
exhausting for your face muscles, honestly, to not be
Yeah.
able to just let it relax. Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, it is tough going.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's some things that are good, but I don't think that like I don't think that like in office, I mean, it'll make it happen more often, but like it's not like you couldn't do it if you're remote working. So like, I mean, going for, like drinks after work or dinner after work or like some of
mm,
the chats and stuff is good. Like it is
yeah.
nice, but like it's very much an
It's the
after work.
only, yeah, but that's the only thing as a result of terrible,
Yeah.
thing is like, okay, this is one saving grace. Like, I might get to go out to dinner with my colleagues or something like that,
Yeah.
or I might meet a few nice colleagues. But like, that's
Yes. Yeah.
only because you're forced to do this terrible stuff.
Yeah.
Like, not terrible
Yeah.
stuff, but like you're just forced into the situation. You have to make the best of it. Whereas you could still have, lots of friends and be friends with your coworkers if you're in 2 days a week on the same days or 3 days a week on the same days. And I've had this discussion before where I come up with that, perfect hybrid model or everybody's in on the same days and everybody's off the same days. And you get your quiet work done on those days that you're at home, and then you get your collaboration work done in the office, and it's just
Yes.
more it's better quality time in the
Yes.
office together when then you have the 2 days to kind of regroup and relax and be ready to get back into socializing again the next week.
Yeah.
So again, not a one size fits all. There's different ways to do it.
Well, hopefully tomorrow we'll wake up in a brand new world where
Yeah.
all of a sudden people will value human life over company's life.
Yeah, well,
that would be nice.
good luck with that. Who knows? Who knows?
I live and dream.
I know. Well, we'll continue to do this, and we'll continue to be the voices of
Yeah. Maybe the next time I will be slightly calmer and not so angry with the
riled
world.
up.
Maybe.
Fair enough. All right. Okay. Well, yeah, let's regroup next week and see what's happened since then.
All right.
All right. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.